Hello everyone, and welcome to a survey of art history, part 1. In this short introductory video, I'm going to guide you through some information that will help you get started in the course. Your first order of business will be to, once you've already logged into Blackboard, which you've obviously already done, and watch this video, you're going to navigate to the upper left-hand portion of your screen. There you will find a tab that says Syllabus and Study Guide. Click on that tab. Under that tab you will find two documents, your syllabus and your study guide. If at all possible in any way, I encourage you to, as soon as possible, print out hard copies of both of those documents. I'm going to begin by talking about this one here, the syllabus. There are different sections of this course, so don't get too distracted by these dates if you're not in exactly this course. The information is the same. I'm going to begin by introducing myself. Hello, my name is Anna Wagner, and I have the pleasure of working with you during this class. Unfortunately, there's some construction over there, and we will probably never meet face-to-face. However, you can contact me at any time. Here is my email address. Here is my phone number. You can call or text me. I am on the East Coast, apparently in the middle of the woods. So if you call or text me in the evening, because of the time difference, it might take me a little while to get back to you, assuming you're on the West Coast. But I will, unless something really weird is happening, I will always get back to you within 24 hours. I'm here to help. It's true that this course is entirely online. There are two exceptions, though. Your midterm and your final exam. You have to take those at a testing center. If you are near an Arizona Western College testing center, then you're all set, because I've sent the test to all AWC testing centers. If you are not near an Arizona Western College testing center, let me know immediately, as soon as possible, so that I can have the test sent to a location near you. Almost all community colleges will proctor a test, which means they will host a test. They'll provide testing services, but many of them charge a fee. That fee can be up to $75. So check in with the community college closest to you, see if they'll proctor a test. You could also check in with a public library near you. Often public libraries will proctor a test either for free or for a much lower fee than a community college would. What is required? You are required to have access to a computer and the internet, obviously, right? You're also required to have access to the 14th or 15th edition of this textbook right here. It's called Gardner's Art Through the Ages. This is the 15th edition. This is what it looks like. It's by a man named Fred S. Kleiner. And because this is a Survey 1 section of this course, you need the Volume 1 textbook. The 14th edition is similar in terms of the information that's covered. The numbers for the images as well as the pages are slightly different, and the cover of the 14th edition is a painting of a woman. She's like this, she's holding a pen. The 14th edition is usually a little cheaper. That's why I'm saying you could buy that if you'd prefer. Also, you can buy the book as an ebook or a PDF. You do not need to have a hard copy of the book, and you do not need to have access to any of the codes or affiliated materials, just the book itself. Course description. This course begins at prehistory and goes to the year 1400, so if you had been hoping for a course that would cover, say, Renaissance artwork or Picasso, this is not that course. That would be the Section 2, Survey 2 section of this course. There's some more info here. I'm not going to read it to you. Listening to me read word for word would be boring, and you can read. So I encourage you to look over it. It's just a description of the course. You'll see down here, however, grading, and I want to talk about grading with you. The way that I calculate your final grade is that I've organized all assignments into little sections, and each little section is worth a percentage of your final grade. What does that mean? Well, let's say you got 100% on everything in the course, but then you decided you just didn't want to write your final paper. Well, your final paper, though, is worth 25% of your final grade, which means that if you got a 0 on your final paper, even if you got 100% on everything else, the highest grade you would get in the class would be a 75%. Therefore, it's important that you keep all of this in mind so that you know that, like, oh, what do you mean I'm failing the course? But I did all of my quizzes. Yes, but the quizzes are only worth 10% of your final grade. So when you're thinking about your grade, keep these things in mind. And you can keep an eye on your grade at all times in Blackboard. Go under the tab that says My Grade, and you can see your grade being calculated in real time, so you can keep an eye on it. Many of your assignments are going to be called blog entries. A blog entry is just a written assignment that is associated with each section of material for this course. Your blog entries are, they can be typed directly into Blackboard, but what I recommend is that you type them elsewhere, say in Word or in an email, so that you can continually save your work while you're working on it, and then cut and paste it up into Blackboard. Why? Because if you've ever worked with Blackboard before, you know this. Blackboard can be a little glitchy, so the last thing I would want is for you to type in all of your work into Blackboard and then you press submit and then you lose it, right? So I recommend you do your work elsewhere, cut and paste it into Blackboard. You have 2 written assignments, a topic summary and bibliography, and a final paper. Those you'll need to upload into Blackboard. Not cut and paste them, but upload them as documents. When uploading something as a document, if at all possible, please try to upload it as a .doc, which is the Microsoft Word format. If it's a PDF, I won't be able to go in and edit it, which can make it harder for me to explain your grade to you. And also, if it's a really wacky format, I might not be able to open it. If you have questions about formatting, email me beforehand. If you're having trouble uploading an assignment, email it to me. As long as you get it to me before the due date, whether it's through an email or you could even text it to me, I guess, just before the due date, then you won't lose points for your work being late. Which leads me to my late work policy. My late work policy is as follows. For every day that an assignment is late, I will drop 1 full letter grade of that assignment. I will cap deductions after 4 days, which is to say, after 4 days, you will not lose any more points for an assignment being late. So let's say an assignment would have earned 100% had it been turned in on time. If it's 1 day late, it'll be 90%. If it's 4 days late, it'll be 60% is what you'll get on that assignment. However, if it's 14 days late, it will still be at only 60%. So I'm not going to just keep taking off points. After 4 days of being late, it'll lose 40% of its original value, but that's as much of its original value as it's going to lose. Let's say you have a medical or family emergency during the semester, and as a result of that, you turn in your work late. As long as you get an official note that verifies that your work was late because of a family or medical emergency, as long as you get me that note before the end of the semester, I'll go back in and I will give you back any points you lost for your work being late. But you do need to get me that official note. Without an official note, I have to remove points. There's no way around it. Moving along. You'll see as you keep flipping through the syllabus, you come to this next part that says due dates. The due dates are exactly that. They're a list of when things are due. I've broken it down into weeks. Week 1, 2, 3, etc. I list the first Monday of every week. And then below that, a description of the assignment that's due and what day it's due. Most of the information for this course, all of the information for this course, I have divided into different sections. Each section is called a module. A module is just a fancy word for section or chapter, but I'm using the word module here because your textbook is broken into sections and chapters, and I don't want you to get confused with that. The modules are different, and they don't necessarily correspond to the exact same number of chapter in your textbook. Each module has a quiz and a blog associated with it. The quiz is multiple choice. It's open book. You can search on the internet while doing it. And you have as long to complete that quiz as you need before the due date. And then there's also a blog for each module. A blog is a writing assignment. It's at least 250 words long. And with the exception of the first blog, which is an introductory blog, all of the other blogs need to be about an artwork that is covered in the time period that the module covers. So even if the artwork that you choose to write your blog about is never mentioned directly in the online material or in the textbook, so long as it's from the same culture and time period as the module covers, that's fine. That's totally fine. Now, when working through the modules, you'll notice that the info for each module corresponds to one page of, sorry for all the licking of my fingers, one page of your study guide. What I encourage you to do is have a hard copy of this study guide printed out and keep it with you while you're completing all of your coursework. That way, when you're working on the module, let's say the prehistory module or the ancient Egyptian module, fill in all of this info in your study guide so that you're working on it in real time and you don't put off studying to the last minute. Why is it important to fill in your study guide? I'll tell you why. Because all of the info on your midterm and final tests is taken directly from your study guide. This page here, this first page, is a description of exactly what will be found on your midterm and your final tests. So when I'm devising those tests, I'm just going to go through here and be like, oh, I'm picking this and this and this, and it's going to be on the test from here. Your tests are made up of 5 slide identification questions, so I'll show you an image and you have to tell me the title, the culture that created it, why it's important, and when it was made. There are going to be 10 quiz questions. I'm going to pick those quiz questions from the quizzes that you've already done, the quizzes in the modules. there are going to be 5 short answer questions. The short answer questions must be answered using one full sentence, and I'm going to make those up from the vocab and terms that you have under each module. So for example, a short answer question could be, what is cuneiform writing? And then there will be 2 short essay questions, which will just be chosen from 2 of the short essay questions here in the study guide, and you have to answer those using 4 full sentences. When you're looking at the study guide, you'll notice that each of the images has a figure number. That figure number corresponds to the figure number in the 15th edition of the textbook, so it's slightly different in the 14th edition. Not a big deal. If you're wondering what image it is exactly, just Google search the title of the image and you'll find that exact same thing. But like, for example, this is heavy, but this is the work of vase, right? And you'll see that's the chapter 2, and that's the image number 1. So that's what the image number refers to. The last thing I want to cover with you is just a quick description of your 2 writing assignments. So here are all of the due dates. We're going to keep flipping through. Due dates. Then you'll see at the end of the syllabus a description of your 2 writing assignments. Your first writing assignment is a topic summary and bibliography. When I say topic summary, it's a summary of the topic that you are going to write your final paper about. I have suggested as a guideline that for your final paper, you pick 2 artworks and compare and contrast them. They don't necessarily need to be artworks that we directly discuss in this course, but they do have to be artworks, and they have to be artworks that fall under the time period covered by this course, which is to say, Picasso wouldn't be a suitable topic for this course, because this course ends at the year 1400. They don't necessarily need to be sculptures or images. They can be examples of architecture, but they do need to be some kind of artwork. So your paper couldn't, for example, just abstractly be about ancient Egyptian gods versus Greek gods, because that would be more appropriate for a theology class, not an art class. Although you can mention mythology, it needs to be art-focused. Does that make sense? Again, if something doesn't make sense, call, text, or email me as soon as possible. So this here is a summary, also bibliography, because this will be a research paper, so your bibliography needs to be in MLA format, which is just a way of organizing things that is explained here on this page. This is just an example of what your topic summary and bibliography could look like. And then this final page is a description of what I'll be looking for in your final paper. Send me a draft of it at any point if you would like me to review it, but you need to send it to me at least 4 days before it's due so that I have time to review it and send it back to you and you can make it better. At this point I could keep going, but I don't want to overwhelm you with information. So I'm going to cut myself off right here, and I encourage you to contact me often and as soon as possible with any questions that you might have. I very much look forward to working with you. Thank you.